Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. There's been a lot of focus towards FPS, first-person shooter gameplay in Star Citizen recently, at least over the last year, and I'm curious if this is part of an initiative by Cloud Imperium to expand out FPS gameplay or to blend it with the rest of the game to make it a bit more sort of combined, because the game is effectively a first-person shooter where you control spaceships, and rather than like in EVE, you effectively become your spaceship. So for me, I started getting much more involved in FPS gameplay in 2022, sort of focusing a lot of time and effort into doing things that are much more just FPS related, with like loot containers and the Siege of Orison really inspiring me to get in there and start looking around. So the possibility to find rare loot on bodies and in boxes, that's just awesome. That gets me exploring areas. That gets me invested in my character and taking missions or exploring points of interest that I might have otherwise skipped to do some sort of ship-based mission previously. That Siege of Orison event, the full combined arms large-scale event that focused mainly on FPS combat, that was an absolutely superb addition to Star Citizen. That showed exactly what the game could be when you combine all of the mechanics together. I'm hoping we see an even bigger version, which is sort of like Xenothreat combined with the Siege of Orison, so we have like giant fleet battles and boarding and all of that going on simultaneously. However, in 3.18, they've sort of gone another step beyond what we already had. So, Siege of Orison, in the same place, we've now got the 3.18 Orison platform missions. So, basically, you get a little bit of reputation with Crusader, and then you can take these smaller, take out enemies, clear a building, kill a particular target in these buildings, take out multiple buildings on these platforms. Very simple FPS sweep and clear missions, basically. And they're really good fun. They're a good laugh. They're not overly complex at the moment. They could do with a bit of nuance and a bit of meat to them. But I want to see more and more sort of combat missions in urban areas and around cities, and this is a good step towards that. But there's loads of new points of interest in 3.18 as well, and yeah, you can argue a lot of them can be seen by, you know, flying around in a ship like the rivers and all that sort of jazz, but you've got things like sand caves, and Cloud Imperium are working on loads of other caves at the moment, loads of different biomes and that sort of stuff, but sand caves, they're on Daymar and a load of the other moons and stuff. You can even get the first kind of real animal in-game. It's not really a proper animal. It's kind of more of a jiggly harvestable, the sort of rock shell boys, big old prawn in a shell. There's the Daymar crash site as well, though, with the 600i and the Mercury Star Runner. They're expanding out loads and loads of derelicts and points of interest. I mean, derelicts really saw a huge amount of expansion in 2022. But there's just so much mission content that can be done at these areas and a huge opportunity for exploration and loot finding. But they're sort of building into a load of the general gameplay and gameplay that we already have, a lot more FPS sort of additions. So with salvage, you have the sort of salvage tool and repair tool that you can do by hand. Yeah, you can use that salvage module on your multi-tool to go around salvaging, and then you can use that same material to patch up a hole in a hull. But even with the actual ship salvage, you need to get out of your chair occasionally or get someone else to do this for you, get a tractor beam and by hand move the sort of boxes out of the filler machine so that you can actually place that salvage around your ship in the cargo grid and not block the ability for it to produce more little salvage boxes. This sort of goes hand in hand with the cargo factor. The cargo factor sort of now making that commodity cargo and pretty much all cargo more standardized to be moved with tractor beams, and for that loot to be much more readily available on ships that you permanently disable, because there's the soft destruction system now. So you shoot a ship and it's much less likely to explode, much more likely to be permanently disabled, although you can shoot it more if you want to explode it. But if it's got NPC crew on board, they'll all get killed. But if they've got player crew on board and you just permanently disable them, well, that crew is alive. And also all their loot and sort of loot containers and commodity cargoes all alive on their ship as well. I say live, intact is what I actually mean. So this pushes you to do boarding and looting gameplay. And boarding is, in my opinion, the best sort of FPS gameplay that we have. It is effectively emergent gameplay at the moment, but I'm looking forward to missions in the future that are disable a ship or loot a particular thing off a ship, and that ship's fine, that ship's not disabled yet, so you have to go around and disable it or take out its engines or whatever, then assault it, then take the things off it. It's just such a big step towards more inclusive and more well-rounded FPS gameplay. And it looks to me that Cloud Imperium are really pushing that FPS stuff a lot in 2023 as well. So there's a load of FPS updates for traversal, swimming, climbing, better animations, EVA, push-pull, all coming throughout the year. Obviously, we're expecting things like server meshing and updates to the netcode, improving FPS gameplay further. I'm expecting to see Bounty Hunting version 2 in 2023, and that could well have the ability to actually capture bounties as well. Now, that's just sort of my expectation. I'm thinking that Cloud Imperium might be moving towards that. There's a lot of FPS gameplay that they've sort of been pushing recently. There's a lot more that they're going to be working on throughout 2023. They want to make that FPS gameplay very much part of the whole Star Citizen gameplay loop. They don't want you just sitting in the chair of a seat for like 10 hours just grinding stuff. They want you to get out of your chair. They want you to be doing that engineering gameplay and stuff like that they've got planned. So yeah, on those larger ships, while they're doing the resource management system at the moment, they're working on that. That's going to lead to engineering gameplay. That's going to mean that you're going to be running around a ship, putting out fires, rerouting power, repairing components. And if that can blend seamlessly, effectively, into ship combat and become part of that multi-crew experience and part of the game, while also allowing people to specialize in FPS combat and sort of gameplay if they want to, then absolutely awesome. I'm absolutely loving Alpha 3.18, just want it to be a bit more stable and it to be opened up to a load more people and hopefully get open PTU soon, and then obviously live in January 2023. But what do you think? Are you excited for the FPS gameplay and sort of the more first-person shooter elements of the game? Or are you much more into the ship combat and like, well, actually Star Citizen is supposed to be a ship sort of trade and combat game, not so keen on the FPS stuff? Or are you super keen on the FPS stuff and not so much on the spaceship gameplay? Do you want to live on a planet and just do FPS stuff and farm? What kind of player are you? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I do want to say as well, actually, that I just played through some of the other missions, some of the older missions, sort of like search and rescue missions, just finding like the bodies of people in caves and stuff in 3.18. Some of these missions work much better than they did originally, so they sort of spawn the body properly, and they're findable. The actual movement in caves is a lot more sort of fluid. Your ability to sort of mantle up most of the mantling points works pretty well. I found occasionally like a mantling point, a little edge wouldn't allow me to climb up it properly or get me stuck on it, but that was pretty rare. And bunker missions and that sort of stuff, much more readily they work now. Elevators allow me to actually get to them, and NPCs spawn, and they're not particularly smart NPCs. I can typically plow through them pretty easily. Most of the time, they all spawn as well. They don't get like stuck in spawn lockers where I can't then complete the mission. But Cloud Imperium are working on a huge amount more NPC updates as well at the moment, so expect them to probably pretty soon, especially once we've got server meshing in game, them to be a lot smarter, those AI. Getting Star Citizen to a consistent 30 tick rate will do wonders for the game. And something I'm also really excited about when Cloud Imperium actually get it in will be the NPC as crew. NPC as crew are going to be absolutely awesome, because then if you want to effectively play solo, well, you can, and I want to play in a javelin just sort of by myself, well, I'll hire an NPC crew and then we can run it together. It's not going to be good as a player crew. It's not going to be as fun either, in my opinion, but you will be able to do it. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you have eyes? I know I do. Do you want precise eye and head tracking that's natively supported in Star Citizen for that deep immersion? And it just so happens that Tobii Eye Tracker 5 has a 20% off sale until the 2nd of January 2023. So go to tobii.gg/BoredGamer or follow the links down below to get your discount.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Nordmas!
It's Santa!
No, Timmy, it's Father Nordmas. I'm legally distinct and spread NordVPN cheer. Here you go, little Tim. Have some discount on your next NordVPN purchase. Just what you wanted. Go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer.
But Santa, we don't want a VPN.
I told you, Tim. It's Father Nordmus.
Every month we have a ship giveaway. For December, we are giving away the mighty Drake Corsair Explorer with a Star Citizen game package and lifetime insurance. This no-nonsense Explorer can take you and 3 friends to the limits of adventure around the verse, and although more focused on exploration and expedition, it is a great multi-role mission runner too. Comment on any of my videos during December to be in for a chance of winning that. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the videos, leave comments, and if you feel so inclined, use the join button under my videos and give a little bit each month to help the channel. It really, really does help. Or you can even become a Patreon or donate. Check out all the links below. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great time in the verse.